Springtime is finally here, so you know what that means. Time to put away that heavy oud fragrance that you wore in the winter, that oud for greatness, that PDM Hautane that you love to rock so much. Put that away. We're going to go with something lighter, something fresher, you know, springtime vibes. Today we're going to talk about my top fragrances for the springtime. Let's get it. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Lamar, and today we are gathered here to discuss some spring fragrances. But before we get into it, make sure to like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell down below so you can be notified of all of my upcoming videos. In addition to YouTube, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Lamar. Now let's get to it. Today we're going to discuss my top fragrances for the springtime. And just as a reminder, these are my top spring fragrances. They may not be your top, they may not be the best in the world, but they're the ones that I like the most. Let us begin. Starting things off with a timeless classic, this one is going to be Creed's Green Irish Tweed. So this is going to be a fresh, green, woody, aquatic fragrance. Your standout notes here are going to be lemon, verbena, galbanum, and sandalwood. This is going to be a fresh, green, soapy, clean fragrance that smells like fresh cut grass. Like I mentioned before, it is a classic, timeless scent profile. The smell is very similar to Irish Spring soap, which I love the smell of, but wouldn't dare use on my skin because it dries it out. But this fragrance is a classy, mature, masculine fragrance. It's an old school fragrance that still works well today. My only gripe is that I wish this fragrance lasted a little longer, or at least the opening would last a little longer. After an hour or so, you're left with a woody, earthy scent from the sandalwood, cedar, and oak moss. It is a grown-up dad kind of smelling fragrance, but in a good way. Our second fragrance is going to be from Bond number 9, and this one is Greenwich Village. So this one's going to be a fresh, fruity, floral, musky fragrance. And this fragrance is going to have a prominent lychee note, which is sweet and slightly tropical. In addition, you get a host of other fruits and florals in the mids, and in the base you get some vanilla, musk, and ambroxan. Fellas, do not be afraid of this fragrance right here. Get it on skin, you can definitely rock this fragrance. I've had plenty of fragrances that smell a little feminine on paper or in the air, but once you get it on your skin and the fragrance mixes with your skin chemistry, it smells completely different. This is one of those fragrances. That's why I say get it on skin, try it first. You gotta trust your skin on this one. Smells really good and has great performance. Give this one a try, fellas. So our next fragrance is gonna be Lamar by Kajal. So this is a sweet pineapple rose fragrance. In addition to the pineapple, there's some red berries and apple notes, but that pineapple is what's going to stick out the most here. The mids are going to give you some roses and some florals, adding a freshness to this fragrance. And the dry down is going to give you some wood, some amber, some musk, and vanilla. There's also an oak moss note here that adds a slightly green earthiness to the fragrance. This is a really nice fragrance if you want a pineapple that's not tied to a tropical scent profile. This one also has great performance and is unisex. Our next fragrance is going to be Hermes Amber Oud Aqua Dubai. And this fragrance is probably one of the best cologne fragrances that you can get of Louis Vuitton's Imagination. This is a fresh, green, citric, musky, fruity, clean smelling fragrance. Now, while there's no tea note officially listed here, you can definitely get some tea in this fragrance. Imagination is one of those fragrances that has been super hyped as of late, and as such, Aqua Dubai was hyped just as much. It's a versatile fragrance that you can wear just about anywhere, day, night, to the office. This one is a banger. This fragrance is well worth the hype, and for the price, I can say that this is one of the best Louis Vuitton Imagination clones that you can get, if not the best. Moving on, our next fragrance is going to be Rasi's Hawass Ice. Now, this was the first flanker to follow the hype beast known as Rasi Hawass. This is a citric, fruity, sweet fragrance that's similar to the original Hawass, but this one is less aquatic and more fruity, more sweet. They actually removed the aquatic notes and doubled down on the fruity sweetness here. That sweet plum note is still here. This one is not going to be as synthetic as the original Hawass. It's still a beast mode performer, and it's still an affordable fragrance. They basically improved on the original Hawass, and they even made a bottle cooler. Our next fragrance is Ralph Lauren's Polo 67 Eau de Toilette. So this is a very nice everyday fragrance. It's an aromatic citric fruity fragrance with the main note here being pineapple. There's also some lemon and bergamot in the top, but that pineapple is what's going to stand out. There's a good amount of aromatics here. You get some sage and some juniper that gives it a slightly green, slightly fresh, slightly pininess to the fragrance. And in the base, you're going to get some vetiver and patchouli. What I like about this fragrance is that even in the dry down, that pineapple note that you got in the opening still lingers here. Again, it's a great casual everyday fragrance that's also very affordable. Moving along, our next fragrance is from Hermes, and this is Terre d'Hermes Eau de Toilette. This one is a fresh, spicy, woody, citric fragrance. Your standout notes here are going to be orange, grapefruit, pepper, and vetiver. Many would compare this scent to the smell of a dirty orange, very citric, very earthy. That pepper note adds a spiciness, while that dirty earthiness comes from a mixture of vetiver, patchouli, and cedar. This one is a unique, masculine, manly fragrance that's not for beginners. You definitely got to be somebody that enjoys a good vetiver note. This is one of those fragrances that a lot of people would consider a classic. And if you're somebody that really loves vetiver, I suggest checking out Terre d'Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver. As the name would suggest, this one takes the original Terre d'Hermes and amps up that vetiver note. Now, as you can see, I definitely went through a vetiver phase. Some good stuff here. Our next banger for the springtime is going to be Nisha's Oolong Cha. So this is going to be a citric tea-based fragrance that I absolutely love. Your prominent notes here are going to be mandarin orange, bergamot, litchi tea, and oolong tea. And there's also a fig note here. And I like to say that this one reminds me of an Arnold Palmer, a mixture of lemonade and iced tea. In a world where citric fragrances get a bad rep for not lasting that long, Oolong Cha is not that. It's straight concentration, it's refreshing, it's going to last all day, it's strong but inoffensive. I highly recommend picking this one up, especially if you like a good tea note in your fragrances. Next we have another from Nisha, and this one is Hachivat. Now, Hachivat is one of their most popular fragrances, and for good reason. This is a citric, woody, mossy fragrance with pineapple and oak moss being your standout notes. That pineapple is accompanied by some bergamot and grapefruit. You also get some cedar and patchouli in the mids, adding a green, earthy woodiness to the fragrance. And the fragrance double downs on that woody earthiness with the addition of oak moss and woody notes in the base. That pineapple note is going to linger in the background even after hours have gone by. This is another one that's going to last all day, straight concentration, great value for the money. Love me some Nisha. Our next fragrance is going to be Latafa Assad Zanzibar. Now this fragrance is super slept on. This one is a vanilla lavender powdery coconut fragrance. This one opens up with a fresh lavender and almost immediately becomes a powdery coconut. And in the base you get a strong vanilla note. Now what I really like about this fragrance is that the vanilla that you get in the dry down becomes a smoky vanilla as it combines with the incense note that makes this one so good. Now why did this fragrance get so much hate? So what had happened was Zanzibar came out during the hype of Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Beau Le Parfum. This fragrance was super hyped, sold out everywhere, and a lot of people believed that this right here was going to be a clone of this fragrance. Once people heard that this was going to be a coconut fragrance and it was named after Zanzibar, which is a collection of tropical islands off the coast of Africa, people just knew that this was going to be a tropical fragrance that was supposed to be just like Le Beau Le Parfum. And that, you know, is very understandable. And maybe Latafa should have chose a different name, because boy, were people upset when they found out that Zanzibar was not a clone of their beloved Le Beau Le Parfum. So essentially we got a non-tropical coconut fragrance, which is different. And regardless of what most were expecting, this is still a great fragrance. Getting closer to the end, our next fragrance is Parfums de Marley Greenly. So this is a woody, citric, fruity fragrance with a prominent green apple note. There's also some bergamot and mandarin orange here, but that green apple is going to be the star of the show. You get some greens from a petitgrain note and a woodiness from cedar and cashmere. The base is going to have some musk and oak moss. And right behind that strong green apple note is going to be a strong oak moss, making this one quite earthy. So you end up with a citrusy, sweet, woody, earthy green apple fragrance. A lot of people like to compare this scent to green apple shampoo. I would say that this is the best warm weather fragrance from Parfums de Marley, and yes, it is better than Sedley. And last but not least, far from the least, we have Bar No. 9's Bleecker Street. This fragrance is springtime in a bottle. Your key players here are going to be blueberry, violet leaf, and oak moss. It's fruity, it's green, it's aromatic, it's woody, it's earthy. That blueberry is definitely the selling point of this fragrance. It is the note that drew me to this fragrance. In addition to that blueberry, you get a host of herbs. Compounded with thyme, cassis, oak moss, and patchouli, this fragrance just transports you to a lush field of blueberries on a bright, sunny spring afternoon. There's also a strong violet leaf note that uplifts everything, giving the fragrance a nice airiness. This fragrance just encapsulates everything that makes you think of the springtime and puts you in a good, happy mood. Check this one out when you get a chance. Bond number 9, Bleecker Street. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today. Those were my top fragrances for the springtime. If you saw something you like or have a springtime fragrance that you think I should add to my list, let me know in the comments. Let me know what some of your favorite spring fragrances are. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell down below so you can be notified of all of my upcoming videos. In addition to YouTube, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at JRedLamar. Once again, my name is JRedLamar, and until next time, spray something.